Anyone ever notice how Trevor Lawrence kind of looks like if one of those stone monuments had sex with Fabio? I can't tell if this man's pretty or not, but what I can tell is that if you go up 14-0 on a team and you end up losing that game, that's pretty fucking ugly. Next on the list, how about them Cowboys?
Woohoo! I'm a college man! I won't need my high school diploma anymore. I am too smart. I am too smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.
Coming out week 1, being the most prolific predator in the NFL today, thinking you're hot shit, and then what happens when you go up against a New Orleans team that supposedly only feasted on the corpse of the Carolina Panthers, an alleged NFL franchise run by an alleged intelligent billionaire? Well, Dallas, you knew what your mission was, and you succeeded with flying colors. You made New Orleans look like the second coming of peak Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots. They did everything that they could have wanted to do. The New Orleans Saints violated the Dallas Cowboys and left them in a pool of their own blood, just like Texas law is violating the rights of pregnant women in their state who badly need abortions or risk facing severe, potentially life-ending medical consequences. And as the Dallas Cowboys' entire roster and coaching staff sat in a bus in a hospital parking lot, bleeding out, wondering why their God has forsaken them, one name came to mind: Jerry Jones. The Cowboys getting laid the fuck out will never not be hilarious to me, so just by default, I at least give this an 8 out of 10. Before I go any further, please find it in your heart, kind soul, to sub, like, comment, share this shit around so I can rebuild the tattered remains of my miserable life by being a sports YouTuber. God damn it, that sounds even fucking stupider out loud than it does conceptually. Speaking of hilarious patterns of failure, did you guys know that coming into the 2024 season, if you were to look at weeks 1 and 2, the Cincinnati Bengals, since 2019, have an outstanding one single win? That's right, folks. That's 10 games over the course of 5 seasons, and they are 1-9. Well, they were 1-9. Then they came into this season, and week 1, they were up against the woeful, dreadful, terrible New England Patriot team with rookie head coach, an alleged quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, a chalk dust offensive line, and a defense that had just lost its mastermind coach. Somehow, the Cincinnati Bengals came in there, and against all odds, continued to keep their streak alive, losing that game terribly, 16-10. And not to be outdone, they would come out the next week in week 2 and put on a great showing against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, but still lose by 1 point anyway, cause fuck you, that's why, Cincinnati Bengals. That's the kind of funny-ass consistency and failure to live up to a franchise's expectations that I give a solid 6 out of 10. It would be higher, but Cincinnati's been doing this a long-ass time, and they've also been in the playoffs more often than not, so I guess I can't really shit on them too much since they figure it out by the end of the season. Hey, we spoke earlier about a move that will instantly go down. I'm laughing just thinking about this next one. We talk about a move that already went down as one of the most legendary 10 out of 10 moves in NFL history. Well, how about we get another one of those on this list? It's the Carolina Panthers. They traded heaven and earth in order to get a 5'7" Lilliputian child. Straight off the set of Willy Wonka, plopped him behind an NFL offensive line that had already been Thanos snapped out of existence, and said, good luck, asshole, try to figure out how to play in this league. Well, predictably, he has no fucking clue what he's doing. Neither does the rest of the franchise. And they started 0-2, getting their doors broken into tiny little pieces by a million hammers, and then all those tiny little pieces were dumped into an active volcano. A volcano named New Orleans. Then, after the volcano spit up all of its lava and dissolved Carolina Panthers' chalk dust door, an asteroid shooting lightning all over the fucking place charged into the picture and obliterated not only the chalk dust door, not only the protoplasm that had just spewed into the atmosphere, but also the planet that housed it. That is how utter and complete the destruction of the Carolina Panthers is, thanks to the completely inept, stupid ownership of David... What the fuck is this idiot's name? David Tepper? As in, temper your expectations of this franchise ever being good under what appears to be an actual chode growing a body underneath it and walking around. when this man's not arguing with football fans in the stands and throwing beer at them. He's throwing every single draft pick he possibly can into the dumbest all-time trade-up that we're ever gonna fucking see. There may be other trade-ups in the past or in the future that tie it. Nothing will ever be fucking dumber. So congratulations, Carolina. You have used multiple first overall picks in the entire NFL draft in order to pick up an undersized, beat-the-fuck-up draft bust. And I'm sorry, Bryce Young. If you watched him in the first couple games last season, the guy was making Houdini jealous. The hits and the sacks that he was avoiding on a consistent basis, like, there was clearly something there with this kid. But you know what? There was clearly something there with me when I was 3 years old too. But trauma has a weird way of making you a failure, even when it comes to the things that you love to do. Sorry, Bryce. Take a seat next to me, buddy. Due to my kinship with Bryce, I won't laugh at him too hard. As for the Carolina Panthers, oh my god, this is full legendary 10 out of 10 all-time bad blow-up, and it couldn't happen to a wider chode. Did I say whiter as in his color, or wider as in the size? You be the judge. Just as God is the judge of this woe-begotten franchise, and there will be no mercy for their soul. Some things in life are completely irrational, like the fact that anybody at one point in time liked me enough to actually marry me. Apparently, I actually had a thing called a personality at one point in my life. That damn sure wasn't for my looks, and it damn sure wasn't for my financial success. Well, just as that shit was completely irrational, it's also completely irrational to think that possibly the best, most talented team in the entire NFL, top to bottom, would go to Minnesota and lose. But that is what happened last year. That is what has happened 6 previous times the San Francisco 49ers went to Minnesota, and coming into this year, there was no fucking way after they just beat the brakes off the New York Jets in yet another September tragedy for New York. There was no way coming off of that San Francisco was going to go into Minnesota and lose to Sam goddamn former Jet Darnold, a player that San Francisco had under their wing for several years and let him go because clearly he can't measure up to Brock, that face so pretty. Measure up he did, more than measure up, as he dialed up one of the longest touchdown passes you could ever throw in an entire NFL career, something Darnold hasn't done since he played the Dallas Cowboys and hit one of Chosen Anderson's 18 personalities for a 90-plus yard touchdown score. How's the defense let Justin Jefferson get behind 2 people? I don't know. The guy has fucking superpowers. What can I say? He has the power to make safeties, defensive coaches, and cornerbacks all suck ass and shut off their brains at the exact same fucking time. And major kudos to the Minnesota Vikings defense, which I'm pretty sure has a completely rebuilt defensive line, like literally not a single starter from last season is back. And yet, they obliterated the Giants, not exactly a feat worth a compliment, but then came out and shut down the 49ers for keeping a completely irrational streak alive for the 8th time. I want to say 8 out of 10, but I mean, it's really not that funny to me, and it cost me money because I'm a degenerate gambler who takes terrible risks. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Because let's face it, San Francisco's going to recover from this. And by the end of the year, Minnesota will be missing kicks wide left in order to get thrown out of the playoffs and all will be right with the universe. I don't have much to say about the Jacksonville Jaguars, other than the fact that the New York Jets' tragic failure was Jacksonville's massive gain, as they landed Trevor Lawrence as the only team more pathetic than that year's New York Jets, who of course they ended up taking Zach Wilson. Problem is, Trevor Lawrence, despite supposedly being this massive gain, has yet to really show up consistently, and he has a bad habit of going completely quiet in second halves of games when they have a big lead, allowing the other team to march right back in there and steal victory from his soft California dreamboat looking ass clutches. Anyone ever notice how Trevor Lawrence kind of looks like if one of those stone monuments had sex with Fabio? I can't tell if this man's pretty or not, but what I can tell is that if you go up 14-0 on a team and you end up losing that game, that's pretty fucking ugly. And when you go out the very next week and you fall limply to a shitty ass Cleveland Browns team 18-13, well, congratulations, you just overpaid $50 million to a guy who can't get the fucking job done. Enjoy that contract, assholes, for continuing to be a failure and join the ranks of the Cowboys, Chargers, Minnesota Vikings, and Atlanta Falcons as a great choke team. I give the Jacksonville Jaguars a nice 6.9. If you don't like the fact that I used a 0.9 on a meaningless ass fucking top 10 rating scale, I don't know what to fucking tell you. We're all here on this fucking planet every day going doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Meanwhile, there's fucking asteroids coming to kill us all. So you can stick your rating system criticism right up your ass. And the final NFLOL moment that I'm going to talk about in this video, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles went up against the Falcons in a battle of the birds. and what was supposed to be a battle for air superiority ended up leaving the field covered in white shit as both teams took turns dropping turds, dropping bombs, dropping easy layup passes. That's right, what you're looking at here is a third and manageable with almost no time left on the clock and no timeouts in the other team's possession, and they actually passed the fucking football to a guy who was notorious for coming up with some of the biggest drops you could possibly come up with in a football game. The saddest part is this guy was running the ball up and down the field on the Falcons like he was told they were down 28-3 in the game. All you had to do, give him the ball on third down, let him get a yard, he might even get two and get you that first down, and if he doesn't, shit, go for it on fourth down anyway, got the tush push, it's basically an automatic 1 yard, but no, they go for the pass, they kick a field goal, and then Vic Fangio's defense got the script wrong and decided they were the Falcons, gave up a long touchdown drive, and blew the fucking game. That, my friends, is a delicious choke job, and it comes with an almost immediate, easily criticizable, idiotic decision by an NFL head coach who reeks of pure arrogance. Every time he opens his mouth, it may not be 10 out of 10. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10 because this is the kind of shit that comes back and haunts you when you miss the playoffs by one single game or miss home field advantage by one single game. And you know all season long we're gonna be making fun of them for this dumbass bonehead decision where they drop that pass and let the Falcons come back and score. It's the goddamn Falcons, who by the way came into the season full of hope and got swirled by the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have turned the destruction of other teams' hopes and dreams into the fuel that powers their franchise. But yeah, the Eagles went up against that Falcons team and decided, hey, you know what? Their fans deserve some hope. Let's let them go up 28-3 on the season so we could all sit back and laugh at the end when it all comes crashing down. Well, I hope you enjoyed a look at some of the biggest fuck-ups in the NFLOL for weeks 1 and 2. And after the Patriots went up against the New York Jets team that puts up a slice of Swiss cheese and says, here, this will be our run defense, and yet New England refused to run the fucking ball with any sort of consistency, I could tell you there are bright days ahead for the NFLOL in 2024.